Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out. All right. We are live. We are live with our guest, Frank Popolizio. Frank, there's a long list of things you do. So I typically, a lot of the guys that we have on, I don't list it off because I could go on forever. But we will list off that you are the owner of Journeyman Wrestling, and not only just Journeyman Wrestling, but several events like Wranglemania. You just did Dame of Thrones. You have that coming up as well. So, I mean, many other events. So what we do is, as I kind of explained before, is we talk about you from beginning to end, but there's a long story with you. Like this isn't something where we just have like one thing to talk about and we can breeze through it. So this is going to be kind of a part 1, part 2, and keep you coming back and letting us know. And we want to, obviously promote the events that you're doing, because they're all, number one, we go to them, one of them at least. Yep. Journeyman, the classic, and that's a phenomenal event. And that's exactly why we go there, because the competition is there. So every year we go, every year it's even better. So here's where we're going to start. We're going to start out from young you, right? We always start out from the first time you can remember sport and whatever you were doing in sports and things that got you involved in it. I mean, obviously your family's in it. So there's probably some good stories to go along with some of the stuff as you grew up. So let's start with where you were born. What city? What's that?
Probably some bad ones. There's some dysfunction peppered in there that always adds to the character.
I can attest to my own as well. So that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. So where were you born? Is in New York, correct?
Yeah, Schenectady, New York, which is upstate New York.
Yep.
So in New York, we like to say that there's upstate and then downstate. And you laugh and you're giggling and there's it's kind of funny to say it out loud, but
yeah,
so much so that the National Wrestling Hall of Fame has an upstate and downstate for
so it matters.
It is really kind of divided,
Yeah,
we're upstate.
Okay.
And upstate is a little bit more rural country, a lot bit more rural. Actually, the Adirondacks fall in the upstate, and the Adirondacks are forever wild.
Yeah.
There's millions and millions of acres of forever wild land, and you could fit all of the national parks inside of the Adirondack Park
Whoa.
combined. So that puts in perspective how big New York is and how big upstate is.
That's big.
So we're pretty rural.
Yeah. You guys are real rural. So, and we've been up that way. Obviously, the tournament this year was in Clifton Park.
Yep.
And that's where your farm is. Now, are there any ties to family with farming and as you grew up?
My dad had, and still has like a horse farm. He had some cattle back in the day. But it raised some dogs,
sure.
Like breeding dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. So nobody really I had a cousin also that did some Angus, but it's not like we come from a long list of farming and
sure.
that it was handed down, generationally. It's something that honestly, we moved out to Clifton Park. And when we got there, the setup was a horse, kind of like a horse farm.
Okay.
And we didn't have any horses. I didn't have anything, at that point, but it looked like a good setup to do something. I always like to maximize opportunity. That's something that I kind of roll with. And so when I got here, it was my buddy came over who is a farmer.
Yeah.
Hugh the farmer. And Hugh came over and said, I can bring over a couple calves for you and they'll eat the grass because it was fenced in.
Yeah.
And when they're done in the fall, I'll pick them up in winter and we'll go from there. And so they got here, they knocked down the field, they did their job. And then I became connected with them and they didn't leave. They've never left.
They have never. And it's in fact, they have multiplied and multiplied.
And they've multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. I got to put a do not disturb on here.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I don't know. It comes in on my computer. I don't know why, but they messages will come in on here too.
Yeah.
It tries to find me.
So as a young kid, what were the first kind of things you were doing as far as sports growing up? What do you remember? Kind of like, was it
not
football?
much? I wasn't. We come from a family of immigrants, so athletics wasn't a priority, so to speak.
Okay.
Work was overall just to learn how to work, but not organized sport. We would scrap in the backyard. Uncles would fund it. Who could take somebody down, and they would give $1 if whoever won. Stupid stuff like that. But there's no formal education on wrestling. No formal portion of it until we got a little bit older. And at that point, we jumped in, and my first introduction to wrestling, I was in 7th grade.
Okay.
So it was later.
Yeah.
And then I took it from there and spent a lot of time coaching my cousins and brothers and things like that from that energy.
Wow. Okay. So you started that pretty early then.
What's that?
You started doing that, because we talked about the club, but you started kind of like the coaching aspect pretty early.
I had a love affair with coaching, back.
Okay.
But got to give credit where credit is due. I did have cousins that came over in the late 60s or early 70s, late 60s. They came over, but they wrestled first. Okay. So I have a cousin, Pat.
Yep. Not
to be confused with my brother, Pat.
Right.
We got 8 Pat Popolizios at one point that were living all at once. In any event, my cousin Pat wrestled, and he went on to wrestle at Penn, UPenn. Okay. And then my cousin Severino wrestled at Boston University. Okay. He actually made it. He's in the the Boston Athletic Hall of Fame.
Nice.
The Athletic Hall of Fame over there. So they started it. They had the background. And then because of that, there was a push for us as cousins to be in it. And
that next thing. Yeah.
We did. And then from there were dozens.
Well, from you guys, especially, I mean, just kind of like I said, looking at some of the growth that, I mean, now even learning more that you started earlier as far as coaching. So yes, you definitely have a passion for it. And when you were competing, did you find yourself like you weren't interested in the competing part after a while, just the coaching?
I was mediocre at best.
Yeah. And
I wasn't very good
worse.
at wrestling.
Right.
But I started today's standards late, and I wasn't as committed as you need to be to be relevant.
Same.
Right.
Same.
You got to be in, as you know, at this point in the process.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, for
right?
sure.
Like you have to dedicate yourself.
That's where it is.
To this 5-6 days a week, and God forbid you want to do 2 sports, and there's just not a lot of room now.
There isn't.
Again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Nope.
But in the era we lived in, or grew up in, I should say.
Correct.
You just, it was more relaxed. And again, coming from immigrants, it was nobody even knew this other way. So just relax.
I was playing soccer, baseball, and then I was doing wrestling in the winter. I mean, I was doing 3-4 sports back in the day. I did golf. So, and now, like you said, I mean, if they enjoy it and it's something they want to excel at, like they don't have an option, because otherwise if you don't like losing, you want to keep growing and getting better, you definitely have to do the one-on-ones and the 5 days a week.
Hide, right? There's nowhere to, in wrestling, you are the one going out there. Everyone sees you.
Right.
So we're in team sports, you can hide a little bit, not in a bad way, but develop somebody. You put them in a little bit and they start to evolve. You get beat, right?
Yeah. And exactly. It's on you.
It's on you. And the only way to not have that happen is to invest more time, energy into strength training and proper dieting and more wrestling and technical skills. So it gets all consuming.
Yeah. Well, and the dedication, I mean, obviously you saw the aspect on the athlete side, but you also saw the side of the coaching side. I mean, that's no light task either when you're trying to coach a team or even just a team of kids in a room. You're trying to grow. And I got into that a lot with soccer, with coaching. And that was the part that I liked, is watching the development and watching kids. I mean, taking a kid who was afraid of a soccer ball, and by the end of the season, he was the one going after it. Like that's the stuff that I like to see, just the little pieces of growth. And I can only imagine with the drive that you had for it, exactly what it was like to be able to see that as well. What type of kids in what type of environment were you in as an athlete? Obviously you had your brothers or, and cousins and stuff like that, but what type of school and environment was wrestling like when you started to wrestle?
So I got recruited to wrestle by Joe Benna. Joe Benna is a legendary coach out this way.
Okay.
You could put him in any discipline of athletics and he would have been great. He wasn't super technical about the sport of wrestling, but he was a mastermind at unraveling people, so and getting them to be the best version of themselves. And so that was the guy that pulled me into it, and he knew the name, he knew my family name. And so it was something that he pulled me into.
He knew the potential was there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was in 7th grade.
Yep.
And that started it. And from there, I was a part of a real program. And when you're part of a program, obviously, you can blossom in the right environment.
For sure.
For the era that I was in, but you're looking at guys like Jeff Blatnick, came through, Olympic champ, came through this school. You got Andy Saris, Olympian, came through the school. And at that point, there were other Division I wrestlers that had come through the school. So it was positive. It was a great experience. And then from there, I just, started the process. And
what was the big rivalry in high school?
Let me kill this. Pounding on me here. Hang on 1 sec.
Hopefully that's your deer cam. Well, hopefully not.
No. I got no, it's and I got it. My phone is squared away. But it's I don't know why it's doing it on my computer. So hang on, bear with me 1 sec.
This is what this, like, even when we were just recording audio, this is exactly what it's fine. It doesn't matter. We've had episodes where we get up and go to the bathroom quick. We talk that long, Frank.
Yeah, this is the problem. I'm buried, right? I am minutes, seconds. Just these are 80-hour, 90-hour weeks. So when you try to balance it with, going in the woods and hunting a little bit for some balance, and there's no time.
Yeah.
So, sorry, but that's and I haven't figured out the technology side and why my computer is intaking the text. And
there's a lot I gotta do. Yeah.
And on the phone,
feel you.
The phone is not. They're not coming in on the phone, but they're coming in through your
computer.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody else has the quick answer to it. I just haven't figured it out.
It's all, and honestly, like a lot of the stuff that I do here, like it took me a while because I wanted it to kind of be right, but it's like, I'm sure I could have done it a long time ago, but it's like, you got to dial this in, you got to dial this in. But yeah, I know, I feel you about technology. It's just parts of it are cool and the rest of it's going beyond me now. So I just do what I can,
You seem to figure it out pretty good.
I hope so. I sure hope so, Frank. I appreciate that. So as far as the coaching aspect, so you were like me when it came to wrestling. I mean, I was okay. I was not, I wasn't even making it out of regionals. What we had, that's just kind of where I was at when I was in high school. When you started to coach, where were your athletic or not even athletic, but education, like directions? Where did you were you looking at college?
I was terrible. I mean, I knew nothing. I just like to build people. I like the quest. You got the journey, right?
Yeah, the journey,
the vision quest, right. and the
That's
journey.
Right.
It's it was that part of it that I liked. I was a stereotypical situation. I was bullied coming into 7th grade, 6th grade. I got bullied hard.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, man, like I can't. Why?
Yeah, hard. Well, I was little. I was. I don't know. I was at 80 pounds. It was stupid, right? So I didn't have anything to kind of back it up. And then I found wrestling, and then that literally changed my life, right? Where you started to get a backbone, started believing in yourself,
for sure,
started to stand up and be able to kind of just even proverbially fight back. Yep. Right. I mean, it wasn't like I had to fight, but fight back. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't tuck and tail.
Right. Right. Yeah. So
even if I was smaller, it allowed me to have that mindset. And so that's really what I became, enthralled with. I loved the fact that I started to believe,
You're playing chess, not checkers.
Contagious.
Yeah. You were playing chess, not checkers with the world. You were ready to play. So when you started coaching, what was your first coaching gig?
Well, I was with Joe Benna, and I would find myself being mat side with him, even as an 8th, 9th grader. Strategizing. Okay. I love the strategy of if you had to move people, weigh a guy in at a different weight, and I would be like an assistant to him in that regard. He would bounce things off me. Awesome. I don't know why. And I don't know, he had no reason to. It wasn't like I was adding anything at my younger years, but it allowed me the opportunity to be inside, and from there,
that's awesome.
It became like I was with him all the time.
Yeah.
And eventually when I went to college, I went to college at Springfield, Mass, Springfield College.
Okay. Yep.
The first YMCA, by the way.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yep. Birthplace of basketball.
Okay.
So we were there, or I went there, and at that point, I would come home to coach my brothers and my cousins.
Yep.
As part of the team. So I was in, and then I started coaching in Springfield Cathedral High School.
Okay.
A guy by the name of Dave Waring, who was local, but he went to Springfield College. He was out that way. And he said, hey, why don't you assist me? So I would assist him during the week. Then I would drive home on the weekend to be with, coach with my brothers and my cousin, coach, for them.
Yeah.
And so I started this game at that point, and I never left. I never stopped. And then then it went crazy.
Yeah. Now you got.
I'm just all in.
Now you got no time. Now you got with the coaching aspect of the direction you were going, and you obviously got your foot in the door. You're building relationships, things like that. Were you starting to take over a head coaching position? Like, where was your head coaching position ever? Or did you ever get head coach?
For this day.
Okay.
I've always operated in an assistant role.
Okay.
But I have my own club that I coach at. So I'm unique in the sense that I have a foot over in the scholastic world, and I have a foot over in the club world.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that many people today do that. Right. It's either you're on this side or you're on that side. For various reasons.
Sure.
I probably lose money really by spending time in the scholastic world. But I also love that's the rawest, purest form of developing people. Yeah. Right. You're getting people that have never wrestled a day in their life. And they're going through this journey just for whatever it is, whether it's just for like why I started doing it or why you started doing it. Or, I want to be an Olympian. You can get from you can get one end of the spectrum to the other. But on the club environment, it's a little bit of a different mentality. Right. You got people that are so ultra committed that they're dedicating every moment and piece of energy and resource to be great, and within reason. There's other people that are on different journeys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not arrogant to believe that everybody wants to be great. Right. But it's just, if you're going scholastic and club, it's different. Your commitment level is different.
You're looking to excel. I mean, you're looking to excel, and obviously with the numbers that you have and just the things that you're doing, and we'll talk more about those in just a second. But like your coaching, your club is doing great. So obviously there's a level of things that you are doing that are obvious, they're working. So there's that phrase buy in, right? Yeah. So the people that you have, and obviously the people that have been coming to you forever, that's the relationships you're building because they buy into the process that you give them, and that's, to me, that's key as a coach, and knowing that you have something that's valuable and that's actually, it works. Right. So
from listen, I don't think we're great. From a club standpoint, we're trying to be great. Yeah. You look at, there's some real foundation clubs that exist out there, Askren in Wisconsin, and you got Young Guns in Pennsylvania, David Taylor in Pennsylvania, and you go through and there's these, like the P&L League, those marquee clubs, and we're trying. We've had our time in the sun, no doubt about it. We continue to produce guys to go on to be Division I wrestlers. We do that. I mean, that has been a consistent theme for us, and that's a priority. Yeah. Even D3, D2, it doesn't matter, but to continue the journey on from a next level standpoint. But that being said, we kind of hit a lull at one point, either right before COVID or during COVID, and at that point, we really had to kind of double down and reassess. And we just brought in Dominic Moyer. Dom has been at the University Northern Illinois. Yep. He was the head assistant there for about 7 years. And what I was able to do is I chased and convinced him to come here. And I think he's the best kept secret out there. He was with a program that maybe at a Division I level, that's a mid-major, and not a lot of resources. Yeah, nobody knows him. right?
Right.
Like, you don't. I'm just saying, like, you're hidden to a certain degree.
Sure.
And then we pull them into this environment, and boy, can you coach?
Yeah.
You know, and everyone that was at Northern Illinois knew that.
Yeah.
Right. They know he could coach, and they love him and wanted him. But I think other people, you know, that are in the Division I world, they know of him, but they didn't know how good he was. So now we pull him online, and we're starting to, you know, bow up. We're getting the amount of development that's occurred within the short, you know, time period that he's been here, about 8 months. Spectacular. So
it's awesome.
We're looking forward to the club portion of it and how it's evolving.
Yeah.
And that goes, you know, it's directly tied to Dom Moyer.
That's a great addition. I mean, I've heard of him. I mean, obviously I don't know all the stats, but knowing that, you know, again, your vision doesn't end. So, I mean, obviously we're talking about, you know, the things that you have ideas for and all the events that you're doing. And so starting with the events like Journeyman Classic, when did that brainchild come up? Or like, how did that come out?
I stole the idea from Gary Mezzacapo at Iron Horse. He was a guy that had a club in New Jersey, and he had this idea of doing these 4-man round robins.
Okay.
Of all New Jersey, and pepper in a few people from neighboring states. Okay. Theoretically, it was really cool, right? I loved it. I loved the idea that it was all meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
There was nothing soft. Everybody was good. But I took it and said, you know, if we were to just move it around a little bit where it was national, and we got very creative on how elaborate the round robins were.
Yeah. So, those are different.
Yeah. We're probably the only place that does it like at that level.
Yeah.
So now somebody like yourself, you're looking at spending money, right? Like there's only so many dollars to go around.
Right.
And you can rest assured that you're going to come across the United States of America, and you're gonna land in New York, and you know that you're going to start at 9, and you're going to be done, walk out the door by 4.
Yeah, right? Every time.
Right? And we don't allow people to come in that don't, you know, that aren't qualified to be in. Number one, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but there's a seat for every ass. We got, if you are this, there's a division for you. If you're this and earned it, then you're over here, and that determines, and that way it's very organized, and it's worth your dollars to come in to wrestle like quality and kind, and be able to be showcased and not worry about going 1-2 or 0-2. You're wrestling 4 to 5 times.
Correct.
You are, and you'll wrestle people that are good.
Yeah.
For all 4. You may go 0-4 or 0-5.
Yep.
But you know that every person that you're scrapping with is worthy.
So you guys spell it out right in the registration, what you guys are looking for. Like you're not hiding anything. And again, like you said, you're not trying to put anybody down, but this is the type of event that you're trying to bring, you know, yes. I mean, you still have to hit, you know, register quick enough for Super 32. So if your parents want you to go bad enough, you know, but your event is,
you know, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
It's perhaps the best tournament in the United States of America.
Hands down.
Right. I mean, everybody that is great, they're like, you can go through the 1 through the 25 in a week. They're all there.
Yeah.
However, my argument is, I understand there's been a shift. There's been a shift in wrestling, right? I think back into the heyday, right, where you got guys like Piccinini, you got guys like Soriano, Aruja, Yanni Yakmahalis, Fix. I can go through Colton Schultz, Aaron Brooks,
Yep.
right? I've got guys that have come to my tournament that Levi Haynes, right?
Yep.
They've come to this tournament.
Yep.
And some of them have excelled, some of them have lost, and then they go to the Super 32. And then, or they go to who's number one. They would do all of them. They would do all of them. Now it seems like people go to the Super 32. That's it. That's it. Literally, that is it for 12 months. They do high school, they do the World Team Trials, and we'll do the Super 32.
I didn't know that people are being that selective.
It is, the upper echelon has become that selective.
Oh,
and so within reason, right? And then there's certain level, like the super high end.
Yeah.
They come. Duke, PJ Duke.
Yep.
You'll see guys like Lindendahl. He's there. Leo DeLuca, right?
Yep.
These guys. There's certain people that Mike Palazzo's group out of Lake Highland. They always put it on the line, and they use it as a prep for the Super 32.
Yeah.
So my argument is you should have other avenues to be seen that are unique.
Yeah.
And I know college coaches really like my format. They love it. They call me up and they talk about it.
Yeah. Well, because you think about it with that. So now the Super 32 brackets are huge, right? The chances of you getting, now you're going to get, match or two or whatever, but the chances of you getting to wrestle the guys that you really came to compete against are slim to none, because the bracket spread or whatever it is, or different weight or whatever.
Let's be honest. If you have 25 of the top 25 guys in your weight, literally 1, 2, all the way down to 25.
Yeah.
There are probably 100 people that don't belong there in that weight.
Agreed.
I mean, like if that's the level that is going there, there's guys on the cusp. Don't get me wrong. They'll be in there, and the guys that are just about to arrive, they should be there. But then there's a whole bunch of other people that are, it's not the meat and potatoes, but they need a place that should be developing it and going to that transitional place to be able to get work in.
That's where they started, though.
That don't belong there at all.
Right.
That are going to go tech falled and pinned,
and then done.
Find a spot for that too.
Yep.
So my only argument is let's wrestle like, quality, and kind.
Yeah.
Let's wrestle the same skill set together. Yep. And then I think that's a better situation.
I think that shift you're talking about, especially with Super 32, is, because Super 32 used to be selective. You had to be, it was a certain rank, wasn't it? Like it was only 32, in a bracket.
I don't know the history. I know it wasn't this gigantic and
sure. Yeah, it's definitely changed. It has. And I'm pretty sure that's how it started anyways. Yeah. And then it shifted because they didn't have middle school. They didn't have elementary, and also everything. Yeah. Everything.
And listen, we do the same thing.
Yeah. Every year.
In the spring. We take the same mentality, the same format.
Yep.
And we wrestle freestyle.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yep.
Right. We want the best guys. And when I say the best guys, I don't mean like we're being exclusive and excluding guys that are developing. We have spots for everybody.
Yeah, you do.
We're bringing the best in the world in.
Yeah.
The world. Now, maybe that scares people. It may actually say, hey, I'm afraid to go here. But my argument is, if you're going to the World Team Trials, then how in hell are you not coming to our event,
here.
The World Classic, to see the same guys that are going to be at the World Championship?
It's a good question. We don't
unraveled that yet.
We go to your tournament, and I can attest to, like I said, the things that you guys are looking for in the competitors are specific, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And when we go, you're right. Like, even because Liam, I think the first year wrestled in the overflow. Correct. Yes. And then he got a chance, an opportunity, because he has space. He got to wrestle the other one. He did all right. But even at the same point though, too, is like, even if he didn't, there was going to be another spot somewhere else that he could still compete, like another 2 matches. So yes, correct. And that's why we go. We don't go to get ready for Super 32. We go because that's part of the regimen of what it takes to find out where you're at. I mean, because you do have some of the best in the country that come to that. And it's awesome. I mean, those guys let it fly. It's just like they're at any other tournament, and they're just there to scrap, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the divider. So that's the big difference between, I think, like the Midwest and the East Coast, as far as you guys have that deep tradition, and you guys have that kind of, I call it like wrestling soul, that kind of sparks a little more than the average, customer in the United States. When you're coaching and stuff, do you guys? I mean, what type of traditions were there that kind of set you aside from any other, club that you guys do? Just interesting, things that you guys do. Is there something that sets you apart?
You're talking from a club standpoint. You're talking tournament.
Club tournaments. We know what sets you apart right now.
Right now, we have really dove into this.
Yep.
It's that you're bringing this up, and when I said we doubled down and reassessed.
Yeah.
Right.
You got good coach.
We have now really zoned in on a couple things to put us that we hope will separate us. First of all, I tip my hat to Dom Moyer.
Yep.
When we originally talked, but there's other guys in there that really hold the fort down. We have young coaches: Johnny Paris, Mike, Dan Marino, Evan Wallace, Sean Miller, Jason Little. Like, we got these guys. That's awesome. That are real deal, right? They're the real deal. And we bring them in, and they're supplementing what Dom's doing. So we have from an educational standpoint, it's rock solid.
Yep.
And then we get into we need private lessons. Okay. Great. We lock that down. And we got semi-private groups. Okay. We lock that down. And then we're starting to do like team building exercises where we're going on ropes courses, or something as stupid as let's go to the rodeo together. You're doing things that build camaraderie.
Yeah.
Right. Totally. And so these guys become friends, not only friends, but like there's a brotherhood that you're doing some things together and we do it religiously. We've been doing it monthly, right along. Yep. Then we're looking for community service, where we, the Logan Strong Foundation.
Okay.
This year we went to Albany Med and dealing with children's cancer. And we went in there to give awesome. Like they have a happy meal day once a month that they allow the patients happy meals, and you're in there, you're getting to see people.
That's awesome.
Sick.
That's great.
They're hurting, and you want to talk about mental fortitude, and we're getting uncomfortable while they're we're building character on that stuff. So these are things that we are.
That's awesome.
Really active in, not just a place to go wrestle, and we just joined the P&L league.
Yes.
So we're doing things that are separating from the herd, right? Like you got to do things that are making it uncomfortable and evolving. So we're creating our own traditions is what we're doing. And we're getting people to believe in that. And once that happens, I think they look at it and say, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
I'm going there.
Right. Yeah. You give them a clear choice.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. Well, I think what you're doing, again, and we're going to bring you back on, because we're going to let you go here. You got stuff going on, but I think what you're doing is a great thing. I mean, I've looked at the club a little bit, and obviously when we want to come out there, we definitely want to have Liam see if he can come up to the room and practice a little bit. So, but hey, you got stuff to do. We're going to cut you off here. So I appreciate every second that you spent with us. I mean, if there's anything you got going out there, please, by all means, send me links and I will put them on the episode, especially because this will be audio as well. I'll get all that out there so that way, people can see it and get to anything you got going on. So,
let's make this an annual, like a tradition. I should say annual. I'll do it as many times as you want to do it. I'll do it quarterly if you want.
Yeah.
But let's that's kind of how I operate, where I have a traditional, podcast that I get on and do. And I'd love to continue to do that with you.
Yeah.
Also, great. Let's have your son come up and scrap with us, either maybe before the tournament or after the tournament. If we can, even in the spring. I'm not sure how much freestyle he does, but that's one that we're
picking it up. He's got to pick it up a little bit more, because coming into college and stuff, he wants to make world teams, so he's got to practice, so we're open to anything. So we appreciate your time, dude. And I'm going to cut us off, and then you and I are going to just talk for 1 second off to the side, and then I'm going to let you go. But we're going to tell everybody that we are out.
All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment. Very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.